So we continue with the first chapter on Truth Eternal, Vedas. As usual, let's offer our humble prayers to Revered Lalaji Maharaj. Okay. I'm reminded of a beautiful thing. Recently, I stumbled upon Urdu literature. It's a small booklet, very small, maybe 10-15 pages of Lalaji's writings. They happen to be on writings about some ghazals and Urdu couplets. And these ghazals and Urdu couplets, we got them translated. Actually, the work is on the way. One ghazal came up. So beautiful, spiritually enchanting. Soon we will be able to release those things. So far, in this chapter, Lalaji has been talking about beginning of Vedas, etc. He's specifically emphasizing on Shrutis and Smritis. He's now brought up another aspect of Udgit besides Shruti and Smriti. He breaks this word down, Udgit, and explains that it's all about higher realms, the songs reaching the higher realms. Udgit, the word means the song of the original and the manifestation, the song of being and becoming, the song of heaven and earth, or the human voice. So it's not only the other dimension, but it's all encompassing this world as well. I give an example of Gita, where Lord Krishna gives sermons to his friend Arjun. During that war, the verses that he used were hardly 9 or 10. Rest of the verses that we see today are actually the translations made by sage Vyasa, translation of the feelings transmitted from Lord Krishna to Arjuna and from Arjuna to Lord Krishna. That inner dialogue is very well captured by sage Vyasa and depicted along with original 9 to 10 slokas or the verses from Lord Krishna. And that's how we have 18 chapters. Okay. Further on, Lalaji says, Om is the imitation of Udgit and is a combination of 3 letters pronounced with the help of lips, tongue, and intonation. Om is the real Veda when its natural tone is heard. We have to understand this condition. Om is the real Veda when its natural tone is heard. This Om is converted from its sound form to letter form with the help of a special thought or force. That special thought is birth, existence, and return or death. But uttering Om merely with the tongue is mere imitation or idol worship. Because giving our heart to a matter of thought is idol worship. whereas connecting ourselves with reality is knowledge. Such a kind of idol worship is not to be deprecated, for it is only means to reach the original reality. Somewhere, Lord Krishna says in Gita, I think in chapter 9, verse 18, I'll quote, that I am the beginning, the middle, and also the end of all. That I am the beginning, the middle, and the end of all things, their seed of eternity, their treasure supreme. So when we read all these things, many philosophers, and in Lalaji Maharaj here, they say A, the first letter of Om, is the creation, U, the maintenance or the preservation or sustenance, and Am as dissolution. A is Brahma, the creator, U, the Vishnu, the preserver, and Am, Siva, the destroyer. When we see all these things, Brahma, Vishnu, and Mahesha, or the creation, maintenance, and dissolution, in all this, when we deeply penetrate into this aspect, we have this very whimsical thought, emotional thought, but if it is perceived truly, then you will see that Guru is three in one. He can be Brahma, creator of newer and newer conditions, one who helps maintain those conditions, and one who removes the grossness, removes the ignorance, removes the darkness. It's a destroyer. So in that sense, when we look this particular Om, Guru represents that. Om has all three attributes of God. A is the movement, U is the stability of the movement, and M is the end of the movement. But when we think of this universe and its creation, and the first sound, as they say, was Om, I think it is still going on and on and on and on. If you consider Om is the vibration or the arrow shot in one direction, can you imagine the beginning of that first vibration? How far it would have reached in the space? And when you talk of dissolution, that first wave will have to make a return, isn't it? Has it begun? No. If it has not begun, that means expansion is continuing. The Am of Om has not peaked as yet. Om has the three specialties of disturbance. Om is Shruti, Udgit. If it is heard systematically, reality will be attained and the goal of life will be reached. Here, in this scenario, what Radhaji Maharaj really means is not heard. When he says, if it is heard systematically, he doesn't mean auditory hearing, the perception in your heart. All these following three states can be easily had by remembrance of, meditation on, and absorption in Om. Om taken as the ultimate vibration. Pranahuti matches that equally. Both are same. Sat, existence, the beauty and the charm of life. The Chit, knowledge, right knowing and right understanding of life. Anand, the joy or pleasure of life. Now he suddenly moved on to a next topic called Satchit Anand, where Ah is compared with Sat, U compared with Chit, and M compared with Ananda. Om is the sound and sound only, means vibration only. It's a vibration, a melody, and the melody is related to singing and hearing only. If it is sung and heard properly and systematically, both the singer and the hearer will enjoy this, and within a very short time, they will be able to see reality. So, what is this singing and hearing in a group satsang or individually when we are sitting receiving these vibrations? Every individual is Satchitanand. No one is devoid of Sat, Chit, and Anand. It is due to ignorance that people have thought themselves to be something other than what they really are. It is because of wrong identification, I think, either with the body or with their intelligence or with their own identification with their self. For example, oh, I'm a doctor or I'm an engineer, I'm such and such in the society. Here in the satsang, the removal of their ignorance is tried side by side with the practice of meditation, which will enable them to experience Satchit Anand. So it's a great importance that during satsang, at least we should not identify ourselves with bodies, our statuses, and our intelligence. Moment you bring in this idea of status that I am so and so, that destroys Satchit Anand. And without this bliss aspect, I don't think anybody can move in spirituality. Though at some point we say goodbye to bliss. We do say goodbye to this nectar called bliss. It is easy to get rid of desires because they prick you. They prick you like thorns. But how to deal with Satchidanand state which is so blissful? It is so full of nectar. You don't want to be a part of it. Yet it remains as a burden on your consciousness. So we have to respectfully say goodbye, renounce it, move on further beyond Satchitanand. The Satchitanand state is culminated at SDK. SDK is our Sahasra Dal Kamal. That's why Babuji Maharaj does not even refer to it, because what is the point of referring something that is going to retard you altogether, stop you from moving further? He only advocates more and more of less and less. As Om is mere sound, Udgit and Shruti, it will not be wrong to pronounce it as Yom, Swam, Tvam, and so on, which will still be an imitation of Om. It will be quite in tune, and no other sound is more in tune than this. That is why it is called Bij Matra, real remedy, real plan, real scheme. This is the origin, and all else in the three worlds is its imitation. The Vedas are not four, but three only. In my childhood and for most of my college days, I always thought that we have four Vedas until I read Truth Eternal in my pharmacy days. Then I realized, oh, how come Lalaji Maharaj is saying there are only three Vedas and not four? But then while you go through Gita, especially this sloka, number 17 from 9th chapter, that says, I am the father of this universe, Lord Krishna says. I am the father of this universe and even the source of father. I am the mother of this universe and the creator of all. I am the highest to be known, the path of purification, the holy Om, the three Vedas. So here he specifically says there are only three Vedas. And Lalaji Maharaj gives here a reason. The Vedas are not four but three only because there are only three kinds of sound in Om. Four Vedas are admitted on the basis of system, content, and order. Only three things in this world are fit to be practiced, liked, or chosen, and to be thought of. Once again, he says, what you need to think about and practice is this Sat Chit Anand. Thank you.